Welcome to Mental Health Moments. We're happy to have you along with us this time. We are always happy to see people that are there. If you're new to us, we're glad that you found us. If you've been before, you already know we're going to get right to it. We will be right back. Welcome back. Before we jump in, we wanted to take a moment tonight and celebrate. I don't know if anybody noticed this, but we did. Last week was our 26th video release, which means that we have now been involved in Mental Health Moments for the last 6 months. Very excited about that. I just wanted to take a moment and say thank you to everyone for being there. Thank you for being a part of the journey. If you have joined us along the way, we're glad to have you with us. We like to get right to it. I don't like to waste people's time, and tonight is no exception. Tonight I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite words. I'm going to go after a single thought and the single word. The subject that I want to go after tonight is the word process. You may already know this, but that is definitely one of my all-time favorite words. By definition, here it is. Process is a systematic series of actions directed to some end. A continuous action, operation, or series of changes taking place in a definite manner. Saying that again, if you will, leave that on the screen. A systematic series of actions directed to some end. A continuous action, operation, or series of changes taking place in a definite manner. So, when you take it apart, a process is something intentional that you are doing for a particular reason with a definite goal in mind, and as you stay with it, it becomes a continuous action on your part. It becomes a process. It also has a lot of subtopics and sub-meanings that go along with it, and several of those are my favorite words also. Consistency, process, purpose, growth, development, routine, progression. Process speaks to the action of having a particular goal in your mind, making a decision about that thing, and then sticking with it until that goal is successfully achieved. That is a process. You know, sometimes when people have accomplished something in their lives, people will come along later and ask them, well, how did you do that? And one of the ways that they answer that is they say, well, it was quite a process. And when you get into it, the process is usually quite involved and extensive, and it took some time. There were many opportunities along the way for them to stop or quit or give up or lose hope, but they decided to stick with it because they understood the power of process. It is not luck. It is not coincidence. It's something that you make a decision about and then you stick with it. The truth is that all of us have issues. I'll wait for you to say, yes, we do. All of us have issues. None of us is perfect, and from time to time, we have to pull that out of our lexicon and say it. I'm not perfect, but I am definitely in the process. And so tonight, that is exactly what we're talking about. So how does that fit into our mental health moment space? It fits snugly into that mental health moment space, just like this. When someone has an issue of some kind, no matter what that is, whether it's mental health or otherwise, you can pick your own and put your own word right there. A part of working through it and becoming better often includes a process. It's not something that happens quickly or overnight. It's not like a situation comedy on television that happens just very quickly and the problem's over and everybody laughs and goes on to the next thing. Sometimes it is a continuous process, a systematic series of actions directed at some end, continuous action, operation, or series of changes taking place in a definitive manner. Transformation is a process. If you're going to transform yourself, if you're going to transform your life, that is not as simple as stepping into a phone booth and changing clothes. Transformation is a process. Progress is impossible without change. There's oftentimes you bump into people that say, I just don't like change. Well, progress is impossible without some kind of change. It doesn't have to be all that much. Sometimes even the slightest changes can make the greatest difference in our lives. Churchill once said, to improve is to change. Frank Hebert once said, a process cannot be understood by stopping it. Understanding must move and flow in the course of the process. It must join it and flow with it. I think that's an important thing. A process cannot be understood by stopping it. And so what that means is that once you engage in the process of something, you almost have to commit yourself completely to carrying it all the way through. And I know that right now people are, you're already wanting to change the channel because you're getting a little depressed because you know that one of our consistent tendencies is to start and not finish. Well, we have to break that. We have to put some time into overcoming that. It really is one of my favorite subjects because if you pay attention to the process of something, then so much begins to happen as a result of that. One of my favorite thoughts is that you don't trip over setbacks. When you are focused on the process, you know this, you're going to have setbacks, but you don't trip over those things. You just keep going. You're focused on the outcome of a thing, not all the other little details. As you focus on the power of process, it stirs up curiosity. You start to become curious and you start to ask questions. You search and you learn. You learn and you search. You start to discover. And discovery is exciting. Once you start to discover possibilities, once you start to discover answers and solutions, it gets exciting. And then when you do that, somewhere along the way, you inevitably touch on the feeling of hope. And hope is one of those most powerful things. Once that happens, I personally believe that you become unstoppable. The process of it all. Carl Rogers once said, the good life is a process. Don't you wish a lot of your friends knew that? The good life is a process. It's not something that you just wake up one day and it's all there, it's all taken care of. It is a process. And then maintaining that life is also a process. And so for tonight, before you get focused on the process of failing, as often people do, I try and I fail and I try and I don't make it. Thomas Edison once said, I never failed once. It just happens to be a 2,000-step process. I never failed once. It just happens to be a 2,000-step process. What does that mean? That means you're going to fail sometimes. I finally figured this out, that success and failure are both a part of the process. So just embrace it. All along the way, embrace the success, embrace the failures, because they are all a part of the same process. I'm one of those people that don't ascribe to the life of willy-nilly. I don't ascribe to the life of let's just see what happens, and I don't believe in that. I love process. I believe that we should ask ourselves repeatedly and consistently, what is the goal? Why is that our goal? Do I want health in my life? Well, then what do I need to do to become healthy? If I want mental health, what do I need to do today so that I can be better tomorrow? And what do I need to do the next day so that I'm a little bit better than I was this week? Then what are the steps that we need to take to get there? Well, we need to read, learn, grow, study, ask questions, find someone maybe who has already been there and ask them questions, connect with them somehow, and touch on their experiences, and their experiences will help you. Find some bald-headed guy on YouTube who's dispensing wisdom for free and find out what that's about, the power of process. Make decisions. Be consistent. Recommit yourself, and as time goes on, you get there. And you get there through the power of process. I hope this has been helpful tonight. Life is a process. Mental health is a process. Mental strength is a process. So this was my part to pour into that. If you are new and you have not subscribed, click the subscribe button. Let us know that you are there. If you like what you've seen tonight, click the like button. If you have comments, if you have processes that work in your life, if you've seen the power of process, just if you would, make a comment. Let us know that you're there. Over the last few weeks, we've seen an uptick in comments, and we really appreciate those. If you think this is important for someone, click share and pass it along to them. Let them know that this is there. And we will look forward to seeing you next time. Every Sunday night at 7 o'clock, we drop content. We appreciate you guys watching. Have a good night, and we'll see you next time.